In this episode, we'll also talk about Swift and Ripple. We've already talked about this because a piece of information from a paper showed that Swift was connected with the Ripple people. There are banks that make up Swift. From what we know, a lot of these Swift network banks are already Ripple partners and can use demand cash. I think that's what's happening. They can only fight this for so long before they have to change. Everything is going to go well right now. We are in the middle of a big bull run in the cryptocurrency market, and prices are about to reach all-time highs. Get ready for the trip that's coming. Ethereum has gone up by 1.06%, or almost 0.5 to $3,312, which is exactly where he wanted it to be. Bitcoin has gone up by $66,000 in the last 24 hours. That's how the dollar is tied. In the past 24 hours, the USD has dropped 67%. The one and only XRP is trading at $0.99 right now with a mean lean of $0.58. All coins are worth $2 XRP or $520 billion on the market right now. As we already said, the markets are in a very dangerous situation right now, and it's possible for them to crash into the low to mid $60,000 range. There was a hole. At that point, there was a big hole in the CME. Even though this is the first dump, there is still a cash grab of $60 to $64,000. The problems are still there. In the final, we have one more huge shot. Push down to close those cash gaps before making the next move up. Doesn't have to happen, does it? CM gaps can happen too, just like CME gaps. I think they're full 90% of the time, though, as we saw it was filled, but we might still drop one more time for that cash grab before this blows off and supercycle mode kicks in, which is about to happen. Or is that the question? Do we fill trillions, grab the liquid at the bottom, or get in place? How can we tell when we've gone above $72,000 to $74,000 without going over that range? If we keep going up, I like to call it $74,000. You have never seen anything like the supercycle that Bitcoin is going through right now. Prices range from $125,000 to $150,000 and maybe even $175,000 right now. A bull run is likely to happen up until 2025. I think it's exciting to think that a lot of people will stop using cryptocurrency in 2019 and a lot of people will become rich. Currently looking for something to do. Very interesting times. Soon enough, these good times will be here. When I share what I have, I'm sure many of you are thinking, well, Rip, you'll see a finish date for when I'll be there, but it's probably too late to change what you think it is. I bought everything else in the last week or two, so my XRP and HBA, our bag isn't on this list. All of these coins, or just a small part of them, were bought at the end of February. I believe there are 15 cryptocurrencies with caps that range from moderately high to very low. This bag is easy to understand. It shows the amount of money I put into each cryptocurrency and the date I bought it. I absolutely believe it will bring me in around, say, 30 seconds after. I honestly believe we look great out of 5. I believe that many of these will go up much more than 5x. But you already know that I'm a very conservative person, so our predecessors are also conservative. Hey, Brad Gollinghouse, does anyone remember this? It's very classic and comes from Paris. FinTech debate board, and Brad was in charge of this one. Gilbert Gottfried should listen to what Brad has to say about Swift's old supercycle. The GPI is a huge step forward. What you should know is that cross-bow correspondent banking followed a set of rules for more than 40 years. It was limited in many ways, but it did work. Things are getting better, and I think this is a step in the right way. Moving on, if you could go from, say, a horse and buggy to say, hey, can we make the horse and buggy go faster? Yes, but could we please move on to the last one? Okay, let's begin. GPI, you're right when you're right. Why? Make a wagon and horse. There are a lot of people in Swift, so getting to the Ferrari will go faster. We are not like Amazon vs. Walmart quotes. He asks, so did AOL love that from you, Brad? We've known since Bob Way told us that he remembered that run. Bob Way was one of the first 7 please. Bob Way was telling the directors and high-ups of Swift at Ripple what Ripple was doing when he ran into them. How is the issue of moving money across borders being fixed? At their own meeting, after the CBO's meeting, Swift went back to the drawing board and started to come up with new ideas and think about new ways to do their work. This is how GPI came to be. Swift would not have changed if Ripple had not agreed to this payment plan in the first place. They were going to keep doing things the same way they have for the past 40 years, have never gained GPI. Really can keep track of money with Swift GPI. Notices that there are novies being used. More than $10 trillion is at stake when Ripple solves a problem. As a digital currency on demand liquidity is used by these banks and financial institutions, these banks don't have to hold on to XRP if they don't want to. When counterparties use tools they've made before, they take a risk. To use XRP as the bridge cryptocurrency, all they need to do is join to the network. We are putting this out there along with court records that say selling XRP is how Ripple makes most of its money. I'm interested in what might be changed about this. In the case between Ripple and the SEC, the only question left is how Ripple will be able to sell XRP to institutional buyers in the future. HSBC said that they will be working with Ripple and Mado in 2024 to improve the bank systems so that they can use DLT to give out tokens that represent ownership of real gold. Okay, that's it. That's the only thing left, and the problem will be fixed. It will be interesting to see what HSBC does, especially with tokenizing, which is what we want to do here. Robbie, you need to put this out there. When the project is done, you'll get XRP for keeping out NFTs and Ts and helping with other projects. But after I buy you hundreds of these cute little JPEGs, nothing happens. The project stops growing. They don't come up with new ideas. They just do. It did nothing. It was made completely useless. You lost all of your valuable XRP. Farah, thank you for your NFT. As we grow and change the project, you'll get a little something back. It works out well for everyone. New ones just got here, and these are great right now. These are really great. The Wild West tier is amazing. Are able to get them. Swift, you've been waiting for potatoes, and now we have them. It is very important to know how Swift GPI uses HTTPS APIs to connect to Ripple and XRP through partners of Ripple without needing a direct connection between Swift and Ripple. And to send Swift GPI real-time payment messages to the bank, use the standard Swift Montana type of messaging. In return, RippleNet services get the same empty type, sending messages through the API bridge, that's AT, set, all of which happen on their own. Quick and a Ripple. It's not necessary for on Swift to work together, but it does. With these extra providers like your SAPs, which I stated at the start of this video, Swift is just a message. Your temperatures are your entry points to the earth. There are many banks that work together as a consortium, but many of these banks also work with other service companies to handle their transfers. As part of their job to help move money to places where it can be used, Earthport is taking on all the risks that come with that. Let's say that the banks are getting in touch with them, because it has on-demand liquidity. Swift doesn't have to send funds through RippleNet. Between all the different banks, I'm not even sure how a quick relationship with Ripple would work. Now, you need all of the banks to agree for them to send you any kind of message, but if you only need to know the names of 9 banks, I'm sure there are more. In the case of Swift, I'm just giving you an example. From the fact that 9 out of 10 banks are used, can you say that Swift uses Ripple or XRP? There are only a few banks there, right? What if